Look, I can't help but think that now might be a good. Look, I can't help but think that now might be a good time for a little fire and ice.
Do not know. There's never a good time for fire and ice.
What happens when you mix fire and ice?
Warm water, baby.
It's bubbling, baby. Warm water. Warm water.
What's going on, everybody? It's a Saturday afternoon, and that means it's time for one thing, and one thing only. It is time for Fire and Ice, hanging out with you here at Buffalo Wild Wings, a brand new, renovated.
Beautiful.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
No carpet anymore?
Very beautiful.
It's wonderful. It's phenomenal. It's a packed house for Fire and Ice.
It really, it looks so much nicer in here.
It does.
Like it looked nice to begin with. I'm not jumping on anything, but like the paint, everything you can tell, it's brighter here. We got to get our cameras like the right level of iris and all that.
Look at all the jerseys everywhere.
Yeah, like it looks really good in here. And the TVs, of course, Brandon, showing all of the sports possible that they can possibly show here at Buffalo Wild Wings. Once again, 655 Sunland Park Drive. It is time for Fire and Ice. Brandon the Iceman Cone, Mike Tipton. We got our guy Dave Halpern hanging out with us today as well, always making sure we sound good.
Yes, and he does a wonderful job. And today, I feel underdressed. Here I am wearing my 2003 Brian Urlacher authentic Pro Bowl Bears jersey, and then it's like laundry day. I mean, you actually show up dressed to impress, and I feel like the schmuck today, but it is Super Bowl Sunday tomorrow, so I'm just like,
I know, and that would be the thing, right? Like, if not for, previous obligations of things that I had to do,
yes,
I, too, would be comfortable.
Yes.
So this I mean, don't get me wrong, I know I look good.
You do.
But
like Johnny Cash.
This is not the look that I normally want to go for, right? Like I want to be more relaxed as we do Fire and Ice. But the man in black today, we're doing our own little thing here.
Yeah.
Okay, Brandon. So there's a lot of stuff that's been going on in the world of sports. Obviously, it's been a while since we did Fire and Ice because of the I was gonna say the holiday. It wasn't even the holiday. I guess you had something going on.
Yes.
And then last week I had the El Paso bar still open, the downtown bar still open. That they had downtown El Paso, going through all of the various bars and places like that, playing mini golf and doing some stuff like that. So I just want to give a big shout out to our friends over at the El Paso Bar Still Open, downtown El Paso, doing some wonderful things, building up basically all the stuff that we're doing downtown. Dude, it was so much fun. We didn't get to finish. We had 4 hours. 4 hours that we were there downtown playing mini golf, drinks are flowing, doing all kinds of stuff. Our groups did not finish, which shows you how fun it was, right? Like 9 holes, and we weren't able to get it done in those 4 hours that we were able to get it. But it was so much fun going out there. Just had a wonderful, wonderful time in downtown El Paso. And Brandon, have you been to that event yet?
I have not, but I was looking it up online, and they were talking about all the different, mini golf holes that they have throughout different places that you can go to. And I thought it was really interesting. I was intrigued beyond words. Had I not had an obligation, I was going to join you as well. But it sounds like a really, really cool event that's going on there.
It really is. And this is the 8th year that they've done it. And it's like, I'm so glad that I finally got to be able to do it this year with the El Paso Downtown Bar Stool Open. Now, that was a mini golf. That was the fun stuff that I got to do over this time, just catching everybody up on some of the stuff that we've been missing here on Fire and Ice. Did you know, Brandon, that the Winter Olympics were happening? Because I had no earthly clue.
Well, it's funny. So I got home last night from work, and I realized that the opening ceremonies were on, and I was streaming, this, that, and the other. And I was like, all right, I'll go ahead and watch the opening ceremonies, which I really never do. And I actually watched it. It was pretty darn cool. Of course, I nodded off 30 times, but yes, I that's the only way I knew that the Winter Olympics were starting. It's in Italy. It's in Milan, and another city in Italy. Buongiorno. This year. That's pretty cool, man. Come stai? My Italian when I went to Italy. Sorry. Scusi. Oh, scusi.
I absolutely love it. So that was the thing that I was going to get at, right? Like, so whenever we look at the Winter Olympics and everything like that, where was the marketing? Like I know it's not the Summer Olympics, but maybe they do something.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'll tell you where part of the marketing was when Tom Yamas got to interview Vaughn. That was the beautiful woman who suffered an ACL. Then 5 years later, she re-enters the Olympics and says, "I'm back."
And that to me, so I'm glad you brought that up, David, because that's the story that I wanted to go to right now, was the Lindsey Vaughn story. And I don't know if you heard about this or not, Brandon, because obviously, like I said, the Winter Olympics just snuck up on everybody. But Lindsey Vonn had been retired for 5 years, like David had said, comes back after that massive ACL injury. And while she's training, a week before her event, ruptured her ACL. She says this week that she's going to still make a go of it with that ruptured ACL.
She's more macho than some of the football players we've been talking about.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Those football players would not ever be able to do that. And again, I know what it's like to have a ruptured ACL. I've been in that booth with the ruptured ACL club, right? It is not fun. It hurts like hell. But I had to think about this, right? She can't injure her knee more than it already is. So why not give it a shot right there, right? Like, she's more than likely not going to win a gold medal or anything like that. But why not give it a little bit of a shot?
I mean, I don't see why not. The woman's been very resilient throughout her career. And, I mean, I think you got to go for it. I mean, look.
It's her way of saying, I'll show them.
I mean, that's the one thing that you got to think about it, right? Like, obviously, like, the amount of pain that she must be going through when she's going to go downhill. I have never skied. I've snowboarded a couple of times. I've never skied in my life. And I could only imagine how painful it has to be on your knees when you're fully healthy. I could not imagine what it has to feel like with a ruptured ACL.
Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. But in her defense, you know, this isn't her first rodeo, and she's overcome a plethora of injuries in her past, and I don't see why the hell not give it another go. But I will say this much. I only have one favorite sport in the Winter Olympics, and that is curling.
You are the second person to talk to me about curling today.
Oh, it looks so much fun.
I have
a little thing down the ice.
I have no idea
I don't either.
what it is. I just know you push the
you
broom.
get like it close. Isn't it
Yeah.
like horseshoes or hand?
I guess.
Horseshoes, like where you get
You're gonna say hand grenade.
or it's like horseshoes and hand grenades. It's what close counts, right? But I mean, as long as you get close, it's okay. Dude, I don't know. I don't have the foggiest idea how the hell curling works. But the Canadians do.
And they're
What's
dominant.
the sell the boot?
Oh, yeah, what is it all about?
I don't know. Can anyone tell us if you know anything about curling? Who our listeners, our loyal listeners, what the hell is curling? I mean, I could Google it, obviously, but it's like, I think it's like you push this big thing down the ice and it looks like a overstuffed puck, and it's like you get it close, right?
That's all you got to do. Get
Isn't
it close.
that what it is?
Get it close. That's all. Get it close to the
I need
bullseye.
to look this crap up. Dude.
So Ashley Candelaria over on YouTube saying, talking about Lindsey Vonn saying, "LOL, she's 40 now. She still has to get it done now. Now is the time that she has to get it done." And then going on to say that she loves curling. I don't know anything about the sport.
So it's a long sheet of ice. Yeah, no kidding.
Okay.
Where two teams of four take turns sliding a 44-pound granite stone towards a target or house. Players use brooms, which is even more awesome, to sweep the ice in front of the stone to control its speed and direction. The goal is to place the stone closer to the center that the opposing team does to earn points. So, yeah, you're pushing a 44-pound stone. If that isn't fun, I don't know what is, right?
A 44-pound stone that you have to push on ice. Keep going back a little bit more. I'm getting the cameras adjusted right here.
And you have to sweep the ice. So it's like they have their own little mini Zamboni. They're like cleaning the ice with a broom, right?
Try to get me move it more this way. More this way.
Yeah.
There we go. Right there. That's perfect.
Live podcast.
And then if you can adjust the other camera as well, move it back.
So, yeah, I mean, that's really interesting if you think about it, what curling is. Sweeping. Two teams sweep the ice with brooms to reduce friction, allowing the stone to travel farther to some extent.
And then now focus the camera that way on David. The fun stuff that I'm trying to get done here while I'm doing it. That's what I get for focusing on the camera. I think that should be fine like that. We should be good with that. Ashley Candelaria saying that the USA is actually really good at the curling. Similar, like you said, to horseshoes and bocce ball. What the hell is bocce ball?
Bocce ball.
Bocce ball.
Bocce.
Okay, David, what is
what's
bocce
bocce, David?
Bocce is sort of like the Italian version of playing horseshoes, only it's done with the ball.
Okay.
And there's a court that they specially construct to play bocce ball.
I'm learning things today, Brandon. Like, now we're learning about the obscure sports here.
Yeah, we are learning about obscure sports. But again, the only reason I'm going to watch the Winter Olympics is for the curling. That's it. I
not the hockey, not like the downhill skiing or
ice skating. I want to.
The ice skating is normally.
I want to watch the curling. That's the only thing I want to watch.
Okay. What
No, I
about
really do.
what about you, Dave? Are you interested in any of the Winter Olympic stuff? Like, I know it crept up on us, right? Like, first off, I don't think anyone really associates February with winter, even though it is a part of winter.
Well, here.
Yeah, but I mean,
It's like 70 degrees
the
today.
Winter Olympics, it snuck up on all of us. Did you even know about it, Dave, that it was happening?
Well, NBC was promoting the living daylights out of it, but that was about it.
That's wild. That guy watched so much football on NBC, and I feel like I hadn't seen it.
I haven't seen a lot. I mean, maybe I haven't been watching it as much, but yeah, it's definitely not been promoted as much as I want. And granted, it's kind of a busy time of the year for sports, though. So it's like, how much interest are people going to have about it right this minute? Maybe next week when there's no more football.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I feel
It's
very
like
bad for whatever sport is going on
poor
tomorrow.
timing, no?
Like whatever's going on tomorrow
Why
in the
wouldn't you
Winter
start it on
Olympics.
Monday?
Yeah.
Why start it yesterday? With the opening ceremony.
But you have to remember, historically, the U.S. had a reason to cast its sports, particularly boxing, as the heroes of the world. There we were fighting World War II, but on another stage.
Well, okay, yeah, that I guess I kind of get, like when it was like Cold War style, and you think of like one of the greatest sports calls in history, the Miracle on Ice. That was during the Winter Olympics, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah, it was 1980. Of course, it was during the Winter Olympics. It was Lake Placid, New York.
Okay, well,
Do you believe in miracles?
well, see,
Yeah.
I
What did you think? It was just some random game or what?
well, no, like I didn't know like if there was like one of these FIFA
No.
events or something like that.
It was
Like,
the winter. It was the
Olympics.
1980 Winter Olympics in Lake Placid, New York, which is why it was even more significant, because they didn't allow NHL players to play in the Olympics that year, and it was only college kids. And they brought in Herb Brooks. It was funny. I was watching a documentary about this the other day. They brought in Herb Brooks, who had won 3 national championships at Minnesota, don't you know, the Golden Gophers. And he was the guy that, got this amazing team together that beat the Russians, who was the Russians that year had an exhibition game against like the NHL All-Stars and beat the piss out of them at Madison Square Garden, like 20-3 or something. And they were just the unbeatable team.
Holy no.
Yeah, it was a very interesting documentary on Netflix.
Also,
check it out.
The one thing that I do know about the Miracle on Ice is that game against Russia was not the gold medal game.
No,
It was actually a semifinal
no,
game.
because they had to beat
Finland.
Finland for the championship, because a lot of people think that was the gold medal game, which it would have made sense that it was. Imagine if they had lost in the gold medal game.
That would have been wild.
It would have been like kind of like, do you remember what was it, the Final Four where Kentucky lost to Wisconsin and then Wisconsin shits the bed in the championship game
Yeah.
years ago when they were like 38-0 Kentucky. But yeah, it would have been like winning the semifinal and then losing in the final, which is like, doesn't that defeat the purpose?
Ashley talking about bocce ball or bocce ball, saying that they used to play it on ESPN 8 The Ocho. The guys would be drinking on the court. This sounds like a sport I can get into now.
Well, yeah, if you're going to drink while you're playing, it's like playing golf, right?
I mean,
You're smoking cigarettes while you're
Might as
playing.
well.
It's like John Daly. He's like getting drunk and playing golf, no?
Oh, 100%. I mean, that's the way it should be. That's what I was doing whenever I was doing the El Paso Barstool Open the other day. We're just getting hammered ass drunk, having ourselves a good old time. We are over here at Buffalo Wild Wings for Fire and Ice. Mike Tipton, Brandon the Iceman Cohn. Of course, we got our guy Daver hanging out with us as well. Brandon, I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the show. Tell everybody what the specials are.
Well, here's the deal. This is a shtick that Michael Robert Tipton loves, the ultimate sampler. You get 4 different things here. You could choose boneless wings, bone-in wings, mozzarella sticks, onion rings. Dave likes the onion rings. He eats them all. We get them, and it's all very good. Also, we have the happy hour late night. We have $2 off all tall drafts and margaritas, $3 shorty shots, $5 premium drinks, and $6 appetizers. And folks, the appetizers here are phenomenal.
They really are. Like, it's not just because we're here all the time, but the wings here are some of the best
They're
wings
good.
that I have in El Paso.
The bone-in
They
and
definitely
boneless
are.
ones.
Yes, they are.
I know you like the bones, so that's very good too. I'm back. Can you tell?
I feel like you've been waiting for that for 3 weeks.
I couldn't resist. I
This
really
has been a
couldn't.
whole thing.
You're my buddy.
And the thing is like, so I didn't know if we were going to be able to do a show today. So I was so glad that you and Dave relented and were like, yeah, 2:30 should be fine for us to do, to try to come in and get something done, because I've been missing this time with you. I've been missing our time over here at Buffalo Wild Wings. I was excited to see the new renovations that have happened over here at Buffalo Wild Wings, 655 Sunland Park Drive. So come on out here, check them out. get some of the amazing food that they've got out here, and of course, try the new salted caramel espresso martini. I might be drinking that a little bit later, and I also want to try those brown sugar heat wings as well.
Ooh,
Like,
that sounds
good.
good.
That sounds good. You know
That
me.
brown sugar, damn good, man.
Well,
We like our wings, don't we?
That was one of my nicknames.
Brown
back in,
sugar?
back in high school. Yeah.
Well, I can't imagine why.
You know,
I mean, I don't.
Everyone knows.
That's time for that's another story right there.
That's a story for whenever I go back onto OnlyFans.
Look at the look on Daver's face. You think he's with two Louis Manganinis here or what?
100%.
Poor guy.
I always imagine like there comes a point in the show, like especially later on in the show where we're a little tired and doing all that stuff, where David's just got to be thinking to himself, "What the hell have I gotten myself
Yeah,
into?
get too old for this shit."
Why am I dealing with these two?"
Like
effing
Danny
guys?
Glover said in Lethal Weapon, "I'm getting too old for this shit." Hey man, we love having our buddy here, don't we?
Of course we do.
Of
course we do, and we would love for you to come on out here. And speaking of our buddies,
we gonna make an announcement or what?
we are.
Okay, let's do it.
I was excited to see.
Okay, I'm excited to see you.
In
What's the
about
announcement?
15 minutes or so, our friend Steve Kaplowitz from
my
600 ESPN
God.
El Paso will be joining us here on
Can't
Fire and
wait.
Ice.
That's
His
awesome.
debut.
It's awesome. He's never been on with us.
Never been on the Fire, and I think I might have had him on a tipping point at one point.
You know what? I haven't done a show with Cappy in years. It's been years.
Wow.
Like at least 2018, maybe back in the sports talk days,
Mhm.
or maybe when we had him on Crunch Time, we'd have him on Crunch Time here and there, but it's been 6 or 7 years, probably 7 years since I've done a show with
Wow.
Cap.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking forward to that
Me
now.
too.
We're
And
doing
fresh
all
off
that.
Super Bowl roll.
Exactly. Radio
was
Row
there.
over at Super Bowl. I don't know, and I need to run it by you and David because I
Yeah.
don't want to be offensive to
Okay.
people out there.
You're never offensive.
But what I was going to say whenever I put the marketing campaign out there was that he was making his pilgrimage to the radio mecca of Radio Row.
Yes.
Because that's the biggest event you can do in radio.
Oh, huge, man. He does it every single year. He and Adrian Broadus, our pal. And I mean, they interview all these uber famous people. I mean, Adrian's posting all these great videos on 600 ESPN in El Paso where you have, all these celebrities, Jackson Dart and I was just watching it today and they just ran into everybody. I mean, It was really awesome, man.
They did, and they had a really good time while they were out there. So we're going to talk to Steve Kaplowitz whenever he joins us at about 3:15 here in El Paso. Okay, so let's talk a little bit of it because obviously we're going to talk to Steve about the Super Bowl. I don't want to get your prediction on the Super Bowl just yet, Brandon, but I want to get your thoughts on what happened in both the AFC Championship game and what happened in the NFC Championship game because this happened prior to you and I being able to do a show because we had to miss some time for all the other things that are out there now, right?
Otherwise known as the foot that almost went out of bounds, but required the clock to keep running because the feet were in bounds.
Yeah, it's all the fun things that go on in the world of sports. Again, a game of inches, 100% a game of inches. Let's talk about that boring-ass AFC Championship game to begin with, though. The Denver Broncos falling at home in an absolute blizzard against the New England Patriots. 10-7.
Yeah.
The very first drive, Jarrett Stidham looked like he was a Hall of Fame quarterback.
He sure did.
And then he came back down to earth.
He did. And not only that, but you got to give the Patriots defense a lot of credit for stepping up the remainder of that game. And that game was a real tale of two halves because here's the thing. The second half, like you noted, was a freaking blizzard. I mean, that's what you call football weather. And really, it's ironic that it was the disadvantage of the home team with the weather really turned in that particular game. But New England's defense stepped up. I mean, a lot of people think, oh, well, Denver's kicker, he missed that field goal. That field goal that would have tied the game was deflected. It was actually deflected by the defensive lineman. And ultimately, you got to give the Patriots a lot of credit for winning in that harsh environment. Yeah, I mean, if Drake, Drake May's a great quarterback. I really like what he's done. But I will say this much, Denver was obviously at a disadvantage. I mean, if they have Bo Nix, they probably win that game, in my opinion. What a tough time to lose your starting quarterback. But, I mean, everybody thinks, oh, it's going to be a rout, Seattle, this and that and the other. But, New England's pretty damn good. I know they haven't played the hardest schedule this year, but I'm telling you, Drake May's the real McCoy, and they've got a lot of weapons the Patriots do. No? You don't have any faith in them, do you?
We'll talk about that coming
Okay.
up. I'm pretty sure though you could tell by my expression the way I feel about that.
Did I see the eyebrow go up?
Maybe you did. the one tell that I have. Right? You can't see it all the time whenever I'm wearing a hat, but whenever I'm not wearing a hat, super easy to see the eyebrows going up. Okay, so I agree with you to a certain extent. Like I feel bad for Denver, like you said, laying out all the stuff there. it wasn't necessarily that the home field advantage got taken away from them because of the snow. They just didn't have their quarterback. And yes, Bo Nix is not a Hall of Fame guy as of right now.
No.
But he's so much better than Jarrett Stidham. He gives you an opportunity to win.
Yes.
And that's really all you need is just the opportunity to try to win. Having your backup quarterback because your quarterback broke his ankle on the second to last play of the previous game in the AFC Championship game has to be the worst case scenario for anybody thinking about it, right? Because even if you win that AFC Championship game, you got no shot in the Super Bowl.
No shot. Not with a backup quarterback. I mean, we saw the whole Jeff Hostetler thing back in 1990 with the Giants, and they beat the Bills. But, the problem is that they didn't play a potentially epic, legendary defense like not quite the Legion of Boom, but it's a pretty damn good defense in the Seahawks. I mean, best defense in the NFL this year. Long story short, though, yeah, I mean, unfortunately, losing your QB like that is devastating, absolutely devastating. But, you got to give the Broncos a lot of credit. I mean, of course, the season they had and Sean Payton, certainly, a great year if you think about it, and the fact that they hosted the AFC Championship game. But I think, oh, my God, look who it is, But, I mean, the long story short of it is that, it's like it was a situation where they were destined to lose just because they didn't have their quarterback in that game,
And you really do, like, again, hindsight being 2020 and all that stuff, as we are getting ready to welcome in our guy, Steve Kaplowitz, joining us here on Fire and Ice. Look at that. He gets the headsets. He's adjusting them.
I love it.
The way that he goes.
I was just talking about how it's been like 7 years since we've done a show together. This is amazing.
Is it really been 7 already?
Well, yeah, since pre-pandemic. You know what I mean?
Tell you what, time flies.
It
All I
does.
know is seeing you, Tip, and Daver is like it's like a time machine. I feel like I've
home
gone,
week, right?
yeah, I feel like I've gone back in time, and yeah, you too. It's great to be here. Thanks for inviting me, and appreciate it, guys. It's really nice.
Fresh from a Super Bowl radio row to here. I mean, this is amazing, and all of a sudden, every year this has become an annual pilgrimage for you guys, and now all of a sudden you're here with us.
It's nice. We landed about 11 o'clock last night from San Francisco, and got a little rest, which was good because we slept hardly at all the last 4 or 5 days. Because when you're out in the Pacific time zone, morning, like East Coast morning radio is at 3 o'clock in Pacific time.
Yeah.
So by the time you get to Radio Row and it's, let's say, 6:30 or 7, they're almost wrapping up because they've been on since 3, which means they've been basically up since 12:30 getting ready. So the rooms, like when you would get there in the mornings, were full, and then really peak time was about 10, 11 o'clock, and that's when everybody was there. And it was good. It was smaller than we've had the last 4 years. It was by far the smallest footprint. They don't call it Radio Row anymore. They call it Media Row because podcasts have kind of taken over. It was about 65% podcasts, maybe 30-35% radio stations, but that's just how we've seen everything continue to evolve as far as this event goes.
What was your highlight of being at Radio Row? Because I'm looking at all the stuff you all are doing on social media.
Yeah.
You're putting out a ton of videos. You and Adrian are doing a phenomenal job representing El Paso in such a phenomenal way. What was your highlight of being out there at Radio Row?
It's tough because, you start to think about it. We interviewed some really great names. Like Emmitt Smith comes on, and the minute he comes on, the first thing he does is he gives a big shout out to Renard Johnson. And it was hilarious. Like he sits down and he's like, "Hello, Renard Johnson." I was like, "Oh my God, this is," because he campaigned for Renard when Renard won the mayoral election. So he's close with him. So I thought that was really cool. Emmett was terrific. He was really, really good. Linnea Bryan was fantastic. So I don't know if you know her story. Linnea went to Franklin. She graduated with Adrian, same class. She played high school basketball. Went to UNM, played basketball at New Mexico. Graduated. Came back to El Paso. She started a business, and she is on the USA flag football team.
Oh wow!
So she's just been featured on a national commercial for USA flag football. She was there with a bunch of her teammates. They were doing the rounds, talking flag football. That video with Linnea has had a ton of views. Like we were talking about this on our flight back. All the videos we've done since Monday on Instagram, we've got 1.1 million views combined, which is huge. asked Christian Gonzalez a question about his dad, Hector, who played basketball for UTEP in 93 and 94 up until 95. And that went viral, which I thought was really cool. But yesterday, we knocked out the whole show. We were ready to go. We said, you know what? Let's walk around and see who we can get. We got the Costco guy, the Costco family. They were hilarious. The kid gave UTEP 5 booms, which we thought was the funniest thing we had recorded. So we really liked that. But I had a chance to after that, we met up with Chris Russo for about 4 minutes, Mad Dog. And that was really cool. I enjoyed that conversation a lot. So it's interesting. We talked to so many people over the course of the time we were there. It was great to see Will Hernandez there with Derek Elmendorf and Josh Ortega, the Mijos, and they've really grown their brands in a big way. Aaron Jones, of course, was there with Alvin. So a lot of El Paso representation. I think the coolest thing was, I got to tell you, we met up with Jeremy Springer Monday. He is the special teams he's a special teams coordinator, actually, for New England. You know, he played at UTEP from 2007 to 2011, quarterback turned linebacker. Then he started his coaching at UTEP with Mike Price. And now here he is 15 years later. He is the special teams coordinator for the Patriots. He was so appreciative to be with us in El Paso and loved that. I think my favorite part of this trip is always seeing the reaction from people that have a connection to us are there. And when they realize we are there, it's like they change. They just become so excited to see somebody from El Paso there with them at an event like this.
And really, what an amazing city to host a Super Bowl. I mean, San Francisco, it's been years since Super Bowl 50 that it's there. Yeah. One of the greatest cities in the world, not just the country. And I know you've been there before. I don't know if you had any time to explore. Obviously, the food is epic over there.
So that's another thing. I'm disappointed. The one thing I did not get to do was eat like I wanted to in San Francisco. And I'll tell you why, okay? So Monday night was media night. So you go out and they bust us an hour and a half to San Jose to a convention center, to not a stadium, a convention center.
Right.
Why they couldn't have done it in San Francisco is beyond me, but they did it in San Jose. So that was the first night. Okay, so by the time we got out of that, it was after 9 o'clock, and dinner was kind of, the options were limited, and they fed you while you were there.
Yeah.
Tuesday night was the media host party at EA Sports headquarters. I regret going because
punch and pie.
it was jam packed. Everybody's packed like sardines. The food and drinks was by far and away, the 4 years we've done this, by far the weakest of the group. Adrian skipped it, and he went and had Chinatown.
Oh, they have good food.
He had never been to San Francisco.
Wonderful.
So he went to Chinatown, and after that, I was like, I made the wrong choice.
I can't believe you didn't get Chinese food when you were there. That Chinatown's that's the oldest Chinatown in the U.S.
But there was no time. Because
yeah.
Wednesday after the show, I had a chance to sit in on a This Was SportsCenter podcast. They just started launching with Rich Eisen hosting and Chris Berman.
Oh, cool.
So that was at a theater
wow.
in down, like right about half a mile from where we were. So everything was closed. That was Wednesday night. And then Thursday was the Gridiron Great cigar party that everybody was invited to. So there was something every night, and the food was fine, but it would have been nice to just break away, do your own thing, go out and try it. And Adrian was smart because he had a buddy who went to high school with him that he caught up with for a good part of the last half of this trip. So they went out every night, and he kind of did his own thing. And I thought, that's a smart move because he had a chance to really enjoy himself. But you know what? It was a Trader Joe's right near the hotel. Stocked up at TJ's. That was great. Brought it back on the plane and did that. But all in all, guys, we were there at Radio Row from about 7 in the morning until 6 at night.
Wow.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So when you think about the amount of time spent in that area and in that room, it's difficult to leave because if you go off and want to eat something, you come back, you might have missed the best guest opportunity you would have had. Yeah. So we recorded a lot of our interviews throughout the whole day, and we would run them back during the show. And that's a lot of the times for us, the room empties out by the time we go live. It's not like it would be otherwise. So we do a lot of our work in the morning and early afternoon, and then that's when we hit the air, and we've got, half a dozen interviews to play and some lives, mostly recorded, and we just go from there.
Sure.
So I asked you earlier what the best part about being there was. You told me Emmitt Smith. And you follow that up with the Gridiron Great Cigar.
It was fun.
And then you follow that up with the This Was Sports Center podcast with Chris Berman and Rich Eisen. You're going to tell me that wasn't better than seeing Emmitt Smith.
The thing about Emmitt that was so good is he's sitting with you.
Yeah.
You know, he's talking to you. So like I'm in an audience with This Was Sports Center. It was open to the public. So we were invited. I was invited thanks to our ESPN radio rep, Jeff Martindale out of Connecticut. He asked me if I wanted to go. First, it was dinner with Jeff, and I was excited. Then he goes, I got something better. We're going to go to this podcast taping with Rich Eisen and Chris Berman. I said, perfect. That was great. And it was fun. We had a good week. Again, guys, the whole weekend was great. The week was great. There's something to do every single night, and I'm not complaining. I've always said Radio Row at the Super Bowl is a bucket list. It really is. And seeing who's there and who we get to talk to over the course of the 4-5 days we're out there, players, coaches from the two teams, media, retired players, current players. It's just, it's neat. It's really a lot of fun. It is.
Did you get a chance to visit the stadium at all? Or?
No, because they didn't. They had on Wednesday. They had a tour of the stadium food, right up your alley.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
But
but
here's the thing: that's right in the middle of our work day.
Yeah.
So for us, we can't go because there's too many things happening during that 3-hour period. Because remember, they got to take you out to Santa Clara. That's not a 20-minute drive from San Francisco. And you got to go there and back. It's probably a good hour and a half, 2 hours while you're there. That's a whole day if you think about that.
Yeah.
So we've always done. A lot of these Super Bowls have always been right next to the stadium. So when you go to the preview, it's a 10-minute walk. This was a legitimate bus ride because they used San Jose, Santa Clara, San Francisco, all these different areas kind of combined into one. And therefore, it wasn't as easily accessible as some of the other ones have been in the past, where you could just walk to the Superdome, walk to Vegas, Allegiant Stadium, walk to the stadium in Glendale and Phoenix. It's just a different animal.
Let's talk a little bit about this game that's coming up.
Sure.
The Seattle Seahawks versus the New England Patriots. The Seahawks are quarterbacked by a guy that your team gave up on, your beloved New York Jets. I, for one, love seeing a redemption story. Like anytime you get a redemption story like this, Sam Darnold being able to prove everybody wrong. Yeah. If we would have even told you at the beginning of this year, Sam Darnold could potentially be a Super Bowl winning quarterback, we'd have been laughed out of the room. Not as much
as, let's just say, a year or two ago. Because think about this. He had a really good year in Minnesota last year. He struggled in the postseason, and he also struggled late season. But he was terrific during the regular season for the Vikings. He was automatic. In fact, Vikings fans are probably kicking themselves for giving up on him, Daniel Jones, all the guys they had before J.J. McCarthy. So you're right. I don't know if it would have been a joke, but it was a long shot. But he has been terrific all season long.
Well, I mean, and I said it whenever the Seahawks signed him. It was, a 4-year, $100 million deal. Not anything that you would write home about, especially NFL numbers with the way we look at a quarterback. The fact that they have a chance of winning a Super Bowl with him at quarterback on a team-friendly deal, they can sustain this for a while. Like, even if they don't win it this year, who's to say that they can't be back next year?
They could. I mean, listen, you got all the right foundations in place. You got to keep Kenneth Walker III. That's number one. You got a young superstar in Jackson Smith-Njigba. He has been phenomenal. You got a great defense. You've got a quarterback that's entering his prime years. And by the way, I'm happy you mentioned the Jets, because the Jets were the butt of jokes while I was in San Francisco. Everybody was ripping them, and deservedly so. But you have to understand something about Sam Darnold. He came on the scene as a 20-year-old quarterback, okay, with the kind of coaching that wasn't good enough to develop. And sometimes I think Sam's a great lesson that if you get them too young and you throw them out there, you need to be patient. You need to give them a legitimate 4 to 6 years to try to develop. Yeah. And the Jets gave him 3, decided after that it wasn't enough. He went to Carolina. He wasn't better in Carolina than he was with the Jets. But there's something to be said about going to San Francisco, backing up Purdy, going to that system under Shanahan, learning what they did, then utilizing those skills in Minnesota with a terrific offense there, and now out in Seattle. So I feel like Sam has benefited in a big way from good organizations and as of late, very good coaching. And they've obviously been able to tap into talent that was there. It just had not been developed at this level like it is now.
Absolutely. Now, on the other side of the coin, speaking of good coaching, Mike Vrabel and what he's done with the New England Patriots, who nobody in their right mind saw them getting back to a Super Bowl so fast. Drake May, a superstar in the making, and a superior defense, a team that can run the ball like it's going out of style. I think they're going to show up on Sunday. I really do, because they have a good defense, not as good as Seattle's, but they're there to play, no doubt.
They are. And by the way, New England's another team. I mean, Drake May, it's interesting. I'm listening to Josh McDaniels talk about Drake May, and he's going so far as to say he's better than Brady. And it's impossible to say, how is a young guy 2 years in the league better than the GOAT?
Yeah.
And what McDaniels is saying is that unlike Brady, who took the offense and executed it, May is taking the offense and then continuing to put his input as to how it can evolve to his skill set. So it's like he's taken what they've given him, but then he said, let's do this, let's do that, let's add this nuance and that nuance. And what McDaniel said is to have that from a second-year quarterback, which he never got from Brady, is something that's unique, different, and they're not saying that Drake May is going to win, how many? 7 rings in New England? But what he's able to do right now, guys, is show you the kind of confidence and leadership that you think to yourself, man, he's doing this by year 2. What's going to happen another 5-10 years down the road?
Absolutely.
I think that's one of the things, too, is like you look at what New England did over the offseason. They spent well over $120 million and just, bringing in the assets, bringing in people like Milton Williams from the Philadelphia Eagles. They built a really good team around Drake May.
They did.
And they're building, the building blocks are there for them as well. And it feels like the window is being shut on the Buffalo Bills and that we're going to have to suffer once again through another decade of the New England Patriots being one of these teams that we have to worry about being in the Super Bowl from time to like every damn year. And I felt like we were past this moment. And as a Cowboys fan, like I wanted them to suffer as long as I have.
I think the difference now is this, okay? When the Patriots were dominating and winning with Brady, you had Bill Belichick, who was smug and never really media friendly, and you had Brady, who was terrific, but never somebody that like really was. I mean, Brady, great, the greatest of all time. There's no doubt he's the GOAT. But I mean, personality wise, I mean, you heard more about Giselle sometimes than you did Tom. He wasn't as marketable maybe during his playing career as we've seen now afterwards with all the different ads he's doing, his broadcasting career. And then you look at everybody in between and what they've had. I don't know. Vrabel's a much more likable coach than Belichick. That's number one. Number two, Drake May is, he's young and he's fun, and they've rebuilt it with a kind of like some of the same formula. Great running game. You've got Ramondre Stevenson and you've got Travion Henderson. So you got a nice two-headed, monster at the running back spot. You got a terrific receiver and Stephon Diggs, and you got a great tight end in Hunter Henry. So you could see some of the similarities to what the Pats did during the Belichick years. But I feel like we got tired of the Pats because they won. People just got tired of Spygate, Deflategate, and the stuff that possibly led to Belichick not even making Canton in his first year of eligibility, which is a crazy story in itself. I don't know. Maybe this Patriots team is going to be a little more likable because people seem to want to gravitate more towards Mike Vrabel as a head coach, and they've got some terrific young talent there in the wings as well.
I am hoping for the chaos that the Patriots win the Super Bowl, and then like Monday morning, some news comes out that they had some sort of cheating scandal. Like I need the chaos of that to happen.
That would be fun. And by the way, I just noticed something. He's wearing an Urlacher jersey. I met Brian Urlacher at the cigar party. He was one of the hosts. So it was kind of cool. And we talked about New Mexico.
Yeah.
He never had an offer from UTEP. He only had one offer coming out of Loveland, New Mexico, and that was UNM. That was the only one.
Wow.
And we were it was interesting though. He was really nice, especially when he knew where we were from. and just his neck of the woods, as he called it. And
I know you love jerseys, so this is a 2003 Pro Bowl authentic Brian Urlacher jersey.
Very
That's pretty
nice.
cool, right?
That is very
cool. I
cool.
figured I'd wear it. In
You even
honor.
got the Reebok logo.
Yeah, it's awesome, right?
Now, where did you get that jersey?
Check this out. Look at this little. Did you see this?
You
That's
got
pretty cool.
Yeah, you got the patch. You
Yeah.
got that. That's really cool.
It's a funny story. The Bears fan club at the Riv. I had somebody that actually gave it to me.
Really?
He just gave it to me, and I'm like, cool.
I didn't
Thank
even know
you.
the Bears fan club is at
Yeah,
the Riv.
Yeah, the Riviera. Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah, so they gave it to me, and I decided to wear it today. I knew you'd
Look,
like
Tip's
it.
all in black.
Yeah.
He's dressed like Johnny Cash.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
Yeah,
he agrees with me. Yeah, I told him it's laundry day because usually he's dressed in his freaking cowboy.
I had
gear.
to work, man.
I
I'm
know.
just telling you.
I'm just busting your balls. I'm
important.
just giving you a
I'm
hard
a very important person.
But I
And he
wore
had to-
this. I
and he
knew
had to
you would
make
appreciate
sure that
this.
his applicants took the job openings as seriously as he does.
Exactly. I feel like I was well overdressed, but nonetheless, I wanted to make sure I looked good. The best part about this jersey, Steve, is the last time he wore this on the show, some random person came over to him because they thought that he looked just like Brian Urlacher.
They
Oh,
asked,
that's
excuse me,
great
are you
stuff.
Brian Urlacher? I
Oh,
said,
that's
no,
fantastic.
I'm not Brian Urlacher.
Now listen. Now, when they asked you that question, you should have said, "Yes,
Yes,
I am."
yes.
Would you like an autograph?
Yes,
And then you should have signed.
you're right. I
That's
should have.
exactly-
I should have thought more. on my
That would have
feet.
been, and you need to study his signature.
Yeah.
So when you sign things as
It's
Urlacher,
exactly,
it's
yeah.
exactly right. And then they'll take a picture and they'll be like really excited until they Google it and realize that was not Brian Urlacher.
All right.
I was about to ask you, like, where is the similarity here? Because I don't see it.
There is no similarity whatsoever.
Other than the jersey, other than the
Yes.
jersey.
Yes.
Is this going to be a defensive battle or like a slobber knocker where we actually get a lot of offense here?
No, I think I'm expecting defense.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really am. I mean, most people will tell you the same thing. They all think it's going to be low scoring in the first half, and then maybe you'll start to see Seattle wear down New England's defense a little bit in the second half. But most people think this game is going to be somewhere in the low 20s and not much more than that.
Yeah.
So I'll be interested to see if it turns into a shootout. It doesn't seem like it because New England hasn't played like that in the postseason. They've been in low scoring games all playoff long.
And the one thing that they have trouble predicting are turnovers.
Yes.
And a game could be won on a turnover.
That's absolutely right.
Well,
Absolutely.
I mean, that's also the weird thing about it too. Is like New England has given up the ball a bunch this postseason, and somehow, some way, still have a plus turnover margin by 3, which is insane to think about. I feel like if they turn the ball over the way that they had against the Texans, against the Broncos, and they do that against the Seattle defense and the Seattle offense, it's going to become a very ugly game very quick.
And I think that's the kind of game New England. Well, New England wants an ugly game. They want ugly, though. They're hoping that they can have Sam Darnold throw some picks and turn it over and make it their kind of football game. The interesting thing about New England is this: the last 6 games of the season, including the postseason, have been their best defensive games all year long. So New England is playing its best defense of the season right now, and they're hoping that will continue to carry over tomorrow. And look, Vrabel. He doesn't really need much motivation. I don't expect the Belichick and Kraft snubs to be motivation. I think he's just going to go in there and tell his team, hey, look, we're 9-0 on the road this year. Now we've got ourselves this neutral site game in San Francisco. Let's complete the year perfect, away from Foxborough and go win this thing.
I just want. I mean, obviously, the best we could ask for is just a good quality Super Bowl.
That's
And
what we
I
hope
mean,
for. Sure.
And I feel that
Sure.
I feel that we're in for hopefully a classic. I'd like to see that. I mean, obviously.
Listen, guys. I'll say this. The interesting thing in San Francisco was we were staying right in the heart of basically it's called Tenderloin. It's an old area where mostly there's a lot of homeless and drug stuff and all that. Not a great area. There was nothing there. The NFL, I don't know how they do it. I don't understand this. But you go to places like New Orleans last year, same thing. There were no homeless. We found out afterward they bust them 30 miles away and put them out in this tented area for like 6 weeks and paid them and gave them money and did all that. And then they shipped them back over to New Orleans after the Super Bowl. The NFL always makes sure that when their footprint is getting ready for this, everything is immaculate. And that's really the way this whole thing was. They did a great job with it. The NFL is looking to see it's going to be fun. I mean, this game is going to be interesting. And most best takeaway is whoever wins, Seattle, New England. This wasn't on anybody's bingo card heading into the start of the year.
And if it was on somebody's bingo card, that person made a ton of money. Just an absolute ton of money. Okay, so the over-under is 45.5.
Yes.
Do we feel like we're going to get to 45.5? because I really don't feel like we're getting that many points.
I feel like if I had to choose, over under 45.5, I take the under. I really would.
So what's your prediction then?
I mean, we could be looking at a 23-20 kind of game, something like that. I could see that. Yeah, I think so.
23-20?
21-7. I would say you could even see 23-17. Something. Now, the interesting thing is what's the spread right now?
4.5.
4.5. That's tough.
That's a lot, though. Really. I mean,
I like New England plus the 4.5. I really do.
I would take the points.
How about you guys?
I'm doing the same. Like, I'm taking New England to cover, but I still think that Seattle's going to win the game outright. I just don't think it's going to be a very high-scoring game because, like we said, these are two of the best defenses in the NFL right now. New England's offense, to me, isn't as explosive as Seattle's offense is, and Seattle's offense doesn't have to be explosive in this game. They can just get up to 17 points and challenge New England to try to get there, and I don't think they can do that. Yeah. So I feel like the final score is going to wind up being 17-14, something around that nature.
So, I mean, I don't know. I think for some reason I have a weird feeling that Darnold may pull a Darnoldism, here, unfortunately.
Everybody's been waiting for that, but it hasn't happened.
I'm going to say, I know you're going to think I'm a little crazy, but I think that New England wins it 20-17.
Okay. I think that's fair. I do.
We need to get you drug tested.
What do you mean? I mean, you got to give the Pats a lot of credit. They
had
Houston.
The easiest schedule in the NFL, third easiest schedule in the NFL.
Yes.
And then they look at what they had in the playoffs. That was not a hard route
Houston
to go through.
Was, a great defense. That wasn't a.
Do you not remember what C.J. Stroud looked like in that game?
Yes, I remember, but Houston still, they had that amazing defense. We both picked Houston, you putz. You don't remember that? You picked them as well. Yes, you did.
No, I did not.
Yes, you did. I'd like to go back and look at the tape.
We will.
I'm sorry.
Do you remember he picked Houston?
Well, I have one other question. Do you think the Super Bowl is going to go into overtime?
Well, probably not.
I don't think I see that. Not this matchup. What would be interesting would be is if Seattle beats up on New England and beats them like 40-17, and it just turns into one of these lopsided games, and Darnold throws for 4 or 5 touchdowns or 4 touchdowns. Kenneth Walker runs for 100 yards.
Could.
And if that happens, then the truth is, because remember, going into the playoffs, Seattle was the favorite. And I thought, that's nuts. I was like you. I said, Darnold's going to have a clunker. Just wait. Hasn't happened.
It hasn't happened yet.
I don't believe it anymore. I feel like he's over that right now.
It hasn't happened all year. Other than that,
he had his struggles against the Rams.
Well, there's one game where he threw 4 picks.
Yeah, he threw 4 picks. Remember that?
Still.
But no, you're right. He hasn't consistently been bad, which again goes back to your point about a quarterback of your environment and the coaching staff and the organization sometimes. Right?
And not only that, his best game of his career was the championship game against the Rams. He was fantastic.
Yeah,
so, and that was the game where you said, will Sam Darnold live up to it? Because you knew Matt Stafford was going to bring it, and Darnold was terrific. So at this point, there's no reason to feel like you're going to see a different version of him, even if it is the biggest game, because he's played so well. I feel like we're over that now. I was like you. I was doubting, and I thought, something will happen in the playoffs, and we'll realize he's not ready for prime time. He's ready, and now all he needs to do is shine one more time, and next thing you know, we could be talking about Seattle getting back there in the future. Yeah.
What if that game happens in the Super Bowl and all the people that hate on Sam Darnold, they will use this game if it happens in the Super Bowl as like, this is why you never trust Sam Darnold. The pressure that's got to be on that young man's shoulders is insane to me because it's the biggest game of all time, and the entire world, most people are expecting you to just go out there and lay an egg. Like, it's not going to be fun for him.
And that's a really interesting point you bring up, and I'll tell you why, Tim, because Drake May has nothing to lose in this game. Zero. People are counting him out. They don't necessarily think that he's going to be able to put together an MVP-like performance and lead the Patriots to the victory. They're expecting them to lose, so he can go in there with absolutely nothing to lose. Whereas Darnold's the opposite. People are expecting them to win the game, and I mean, knowing his past and where it's led him now, the last thing you want to see is a guy that's played so well all year long have a terrible game on the biggest stage, and everybody will say back to the same thing. Sam Darnold can't win the big one, and that'll stay with him. Could stay with him his entire career.
It's going to be intriguing. I mean, I just think that I know, I say I'm definitely the minority picking New England or whatever. I mean, and maybe I'm nuts, but I don't know. I just think that this is one of those situations where you just don't know what's going to happen. And ultimately, the Patriots, to me, they shocked the hell out of me. Now, granted, they beat Denver, and Denver was out their quarterback and all that, but I still give them a lot of credit, and I still think May could have a great MVP-like performance in this game.
The one thing we know is there will not be a blizzard blowing into Santa Clara.
That's what I
tomorrow.
hear.
So I think we'll be okay.
That was crazy.
The weather actually was beautiful in San
Oh,
Francisco.
yeah.
The weather was
Oh,
gorgeous
yeah.
this week, and that was another.
Had
nice
you ever been there previously?
I have.
Okay,
I've been
so
there
you've been
multiple times.
So you know San Francisco.
I went there in the 80s with my dad a couple of times, and he was a big San Francisco Giants fan. So we took trips out 2 or 3 occasions to go watch a Giants game at Candlestick Park and go to Golden Gate Park and that whole area, Fisherman's Wharf. My last trip was probably about, I would say, 13, 14 years ago. My brother was living in Reno, and we went to go watch a Giants game at then Pac Bell, and that was a lot of fun. We drove up for the game and ate some clams on the half shell, and oysters on the half shell, and that was a lot of fun. So that was a good time, but it was good to be back. Good to see San Francisco, and like I said, guys, they did a really nice job in terms of just getting the city all cleaned up, and everything looked good.
So next year, we're just putting Brandon in as your carry-on. You bring him into the Super Bowl. I think he'll have a good old time out there.
Yeah,
what do you think?
I think Brandon in Los Angeles. I think Brandon in any Super Bowl city would do just fine. Atlanta the year after, LA next year. Yes, he would do good. There's no doubt about that.
I would try my best. That's for sure. You know me.
Well, you guys should take this show to Pittsburgh in April for the NFL draft.
I would love to.
Nice.
I'm trying to figure out if we can get that going. We have been to, well, I've been.
Vegas.
Brandon was supposed to come with me to
2
Kansas
years in a
City.
row. Kansas City and Detroit.
Oh, wow.
And both of the times our planes got canceled.
Oh, my God.
Remember that?
Well,
Yeah.
plus
2 years
now,
in a row.
and the problem is you've got a day job now. You got a pretty good day job.
I have responsibilities.
Yes.
He does.
Yes, a big one. That's for sure. So
Put an S on that. Several responsibilities. They keep adding up when they found out that the people who were handling those things weren't doing a good job. And then
We don't need to talk about stuff like that, Dave. What are we doing? What are we doing, guy?
I like it. I like that. Thank
We
you.
love you, Dave. You're a good man with a knife and a fork.
Dave, listen. Dave, listen. You have to understand something, guys. Dave's at a point is like he doesn't care. He's just, and you speak the truth. That's good. I like that.
Do you know what it takes for me to get uncomfortable? I was uncomfortable with that. It takes a lot for me to get uncomfortable.
Hey, you look like Johnny Cash, so you got to be uncomfortable today.
but like I was saying, so we are going to try to get out there to Pittsburgh. I got
Great
a couple
town.
of my
Love
friends
Pittsburgh.
from the mothership that are trying to convince me to get on out there as well. James Steele, he's from Pittsburgh, so he's going to show us around, do the whole thing, and then of course Pat Costello with Unsportsmanlike. He wants me to go on out there because we do Bob, Jim, and Pat Get Drunk on the internet. So why not do Bob, Jim, and Pat Get Drunk in Pittsburgh?
Speaking of
unsportsmanlike,
we interviewed Evan Cohen. We interviewed also Michelle Smallman.
Michelle is amazing.
They were great. Chris Canty was home. He just had a baby. So he stayed back since he's now a dad again. And we had both Michelle and Evan there. They were terrific. We had, again, a lot of great guests. ESPN, one thing I'll say is our affiliation started in 2010. They have been terrific with us, and seeing a lot of those guys, they worked their tails off. Pat McAfee, interestingly enough, we interviewed Pat in Phoenix years ago when we were there the first trip. He spent 2 hours it was either a Wednesday or a Thursday. I think it was Wednesday, just talking to anybody, like young people. There were a lot of student radio stations there from colleges answering questions after a show. And he basically stayed for 2 hours answering any question that people had for him about this business and what it's been like for him. So I was pretty impressed with that as well.
I absolutely love it. I'm living vicariously through you whenever you get to go over to the Super Bowl. One of these days, we'll get there, Brandon. Maybe you don't have back surgery this time.
It was hernia surgery.
Hernia surgery,
Wasn't
whatever
a
it was.
backiotomy.
Whatever it was. Maybe
Guys,
you don't have one this time.
Here's the thing, okay? It's getting tougher and tougher and tougher to get credentialed. In fact, Media Row, not Radio Row, Media Row was the smallest I've ever seen it. It was about half the size of what I remembered the first two to be like in Phoenix and Vegas. It was so small that the room got crowded and cramped because there was only 120 spots, which is nothing when you think about it, because you're not even talking all radio now. You're talking podcasts. You're talking of these gigantic video productions where there were video teams, backdrops and graphics and things. It's amazing to see how this continues to evolve. The Bleacher Report area, where they had a huge space, they had 2 skee ball machines and just completely decked out their whole space for it too. So yeah, it was pretty wild.
So next year we got to get you a skee ball machine.
Yeah,
we
we
got to get
do.
you 3 skee ball machines.
Yeah,
That
we
would be
do.
nice.
That's the way to do it.
I will take a spot, just a regular spot. give me 2 tables, an outlet, and some Ethernet, and I will be more than happy. That's really that's really all we need when it comes to the show.
That right there is an old school radio guy.
Oh yeah. Hey, I'm just glad we're all back, man. This reminds me of old home week here.
Yes, and 31 years now for Steve Kaplowitz.
31
Yeah.
going strong. And by the way, I will say this: so we partnered with a company, Venpro Solutions, and they had a pair of people there with them, Jaime and Christian. They ran the cameras for us, edited graphics, and we looked at some of these videos of what they shot for us while we were there. It looks like we're doing a national show. Like the quality of their production was just second to none. So I will tell you that as much fun as it is for me just to give me a headset and power and let me go, it's nice when you see the video aspect match to what we do on the radio side, because the video production is just phenomenal. And truthfully, that's what the NFL wants right now. As great as it is to have cities with radio stations that have been going for 1,000 years to these things, they are looking for podcasts that have tons of subscribers, tons of views, tons of impressions. That's kind of where, and even not where we're headed. That's where we are right now. That's pretty much where we're at and where we're going to continue to be.
For sure.
So if Fire and Ice can reach the 100,000 mark in subscribers, guarantee you this: you're not going to have to be worried about getting turned down next year when you go and apply for Super Bowl credentials.
So how many people have signed up to follow you, Mike?
Over here on Fire and Ice, we have a little under 10,000 total. Is
good.
what we normally.
Yeah,
do.
we're getting there.
We're 10% of the way there,
we
baby.
We need to crowdsource to get to 100.
Yeah.
And once we get to 100, we're doing all
We'll
right.
be joining you, and we'll be getting good noshes
Yes.
in LA.
You might
Don't
be,
worry,
you
I know
might
some
be,
good spots over there.
You might have a better spot than I
Yeah,
do
well,
when
I
that
don't know
happens. So
about
that could be
I'll
that
try my
could be
best.
the
I'm the
case.
same with you. Just give me somewhere where I can put all my stuff. If I got to bring my own damn table, I'll bring my own damn table. I do not care. Let's just get there.
We'll go to Cantor's Deli.
There
Oh,
you
I
go.
love
No.
that joint.
Good. There's not just Cantor's in LA. There's another one.
Jerry's, Factors. There's where else?
Okay, Brandon, we're not naming all the delis in LA. Like we're not gonna. We don't have enough time on the show.
It's not cats.
Now would it drive you crazy if you have to spend the entire week
not eating,
confined to one area and not get your normal
Nosh.
meals out? Yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right?
Yes.
But I mean, at least one deli. Hopefully,
At least
one deli in Pink's on Melrose and La Brea.
Pink's.
Best chili dog in the country,
Okay.
hands down.
That's good.
Very good.
I think Cappy saw the way that I do it whenever we were in Vegas together for the NFL draft. It was absolutely hilarious.
I heard you guys had fun.
Whenever we went out there, we took a couple of drinks. Cappy went to bed at a very respectable time because he is a good individual.
Yes.
Awesome.
And I'm old. That's right.
Meanwhile, my goofy ass was out there till 3:00 in the morning with a show to do at 9.
Oh boy.
So it was a good time to get on out there. We knocked it out. It was super awesome to be able to do that stuff. Cappy, I thank you so much for joining us out here on Fire and Ice.
It's just fun.
Glad to see you.
Again, I cannot state this enough. The stuff that you were doing with 600 ESPN El Paso, the things that you were doing, the way you're covering all the sports here is absolutely phenomenal. And it is just awesome to be able to watch the way that the show has been growing over the last couple of years. You and Adrian are doing a phenomenal job.
Appreciate that.
And I could not be more proud to have just been associated with y'all for such a small time like I was.
I'm more excited in Afternoon Drive, getting a chance to see your show on X with Augustine, who is opposite you sometimes. And sometimes what I'll see is Augustine will call in to us, and then 10 minutes later, he's with you. And I'm thinking, how does he do it all? How can he fit all that into one afternoon? It's unbelievable.
Augustine is a great dude. He's told me for the last, we've been doing this for a year here now. He's told me for the last year that he's going to meet us out here at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Still waiting.
And it hasn't happened, but he will make
waiting.
sure he'll call me after the show just to tell me how terrible of a job I did.
Yes,
well,
of course.
if it makes you feel better, he's been promising me a $1,500 bottle of tequila for the last 16 years.
Yeah.
It was held in Mexican customs at the border for at least 12. He's got it. I told him what to do. I said, listen, here's what you do. You pour it out into one of your regular Don Julio bottles that is empty. You bring me the empty bottle of whatever you've got that you can't pass over the bridge and it's empty. So then when it comes in, I will reassemble it together and put it back and do that. He said it was a great idea. It's a done deal. Expect it. That was 8 months ago, and I am still waiting. So if you're out there, Augustine, I am not holding my breath that any high-dollar bottle of tequila, phantom bottle of tequila, that you have been promising me for over 15 years will ever arrive in my doorstep.
Yeah, keep holding your breath. I mean, that's good luck with that.
I'll get you a bottle of tequila. It ain't gonna be $1,500.
No, probably
though. I
about
know that
$10,
much.
$20.
I've got plenty of tequila, but this was the most overhyped bottle I've ever seen. He described it as something that can't even be purchased for the general public. So as you might imagine, when Augustine blows smoke, you get you're hearing it and you're thinking to yourself, all right, let's go. It's time to see. It's put up or shut up. And unfortunately, we're still waiting for that.
I was gonna say, if I'm not mistaken, whenever I was working with y'all, which now seems like forever ago, we were supposed to have a basketball game with Augustine.
Yes, because he played pro ball.
Yes, pro ball in Mexico. Yes.
Even though there are no documents, there's no pictures, there's no stats, there's no videos, there is no nothing showing that. But Augustine still swears he played professional basketball in Mexico.
Bullshit.
So, yeah.
Oh, sorry, to clear my throat. Excuse me. And I'm just going to say, you've known me since I was a wee one at the JCC when you were my counselor.
Yes.
And it's because of you that I ended up getting into radio in college. And then, of course, everything that we did together, UTEP women's basketball.
Listen,
Thank
the
you.
two of you have had terrific careers. The man to my right has been doing this since long before we were ever in this business. So the point is, you guys, the way this whole media has changed and evolved, who knows? I mean, this show could have more potential than any other radio show out there because you're in the one medium and forum that has grown by leaps and bounds. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep having fun out here at Buffalo Wild Wings and wherever you do the show. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see the future, and I want you guys with us next year as well. It would be great to have multiple representation in at the Super Bowl from El Paso. So that would be a lot of fun.
That's what I thought was so cool, was seeing both of us at the NFL draft there in Vegas. Like it was just phenomenal for us to be out there. I have to say this a bunch of times because people think that we have some sort of rivalry or something like that. I don't think there was ever a rivalry. Like
no.
I don't think I've said this enough to you before, but like you inspired me to get into this business, and I would not be able to have done the stuff that I've done without your like guidance and like inspiration on this stuff.
Appreciate that.
So I don't look at you as a rival. Like you are a dude that inspires me to do better. So even whenever I was doing the show at Fox Sports, like, right head to head against you, I knew I could not do your style. I had to create my own. Yeah. And it was just cool to be able to see both of us show up at that one spot. And now it's going to happen at the Super Bowl.
I hope it
will
does.
happen.
And I want to say this for your listeners or your viewers. I should say listeners, your viewers. I'm so used to saying the word listeners because it's radio, but it's viewers. I have always been a huge proponent of local competition and afternoon drive in El Paso. There is no reason why everybody in town should have to listen to one show and one show only locally. There's absolutely, I'd like to see multiple shows, plural, not just one, but I'd like to see, a show, whether it's on 1380, whether it's you guys doing this in afternoons. I think it's great. I think it's healthy. Some people say, you know what, I'm tired of me. Good. You should be. I've been doing this forever. So it's not like you're going to be listening for the rest of your life and feel like you have to have one person to listen to. So I'm happy you're doing this. Keep doing what you're doing. There's absolutely no rivalry. In fact, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing this. I've said that for years, and here I still am doing it. But you never know, guys. So all I can tell you is keep working hard. Keep doing what you're doing. It's great you guys are here. It's great you're on during afternoons in El Paso on X and other social platforms. And I'm happy. I'm happy for what you guys have done. You've carved out your own niche. You've brought Dave out of retirement to help you out on Saturdays, which is a gift from God in itself. And I'm just happy to see you guys together and happy to be a part of the show.
Awesome. Cappy, once again, thank you so much for joining us out here at Buffalo Wild Wings on Fire and Ice. One more time, Brandon, tell everybody what the specials are before we get on out.
All right, so we got a bunch of good specials here. We got the happy hour late night, 3 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 every day. $2 off tall drafts and margaritas, $3 shorty shots, $5 premium drinks, and $6 appetizers. And boy, this is a good place. Food's very good in this sampler here.
The ultimate sampler.
You guys get the sampler, the ultimate sampler. Is that a big one for you?
We do.
That's one of them, and then we
share
a sandwich.
So what do you do?
So The onion rings usually,
That's good.
boneless wings.
Gotta do that.
Fried pickles, which he doesn't like, and I do though.
Gross.
Sometimes mozzarella sticks, and sometimes these garlic knots or whatever.
Have you guys done the cauliflower wings? Have you tried those yet?
No.
I think she gets them. Don't you get those?
Yeah, Destiny will get them from time to time. I
Not
think
really
I ate one of them,
Cauliflower
and my body
wings
rejected it.
kind
Oh,
of
so
thing.
when it comes to eating something that is healthy, even if it's fried, no, thank you. You're not. You're
No,
not.
God,
You're not
no.
there.
Dude, look at me.
No.
Yeah, I mean, he's skinny now. He used to be heavier. Don't listen to his BS, you know?
That's why I wear black. It's slimming.
Yeah, you look
I like
slimmer.
that. It's
You
like-
look slimmer.
Cauliflower, pickles, anything that's a vegetable. No,
No,
thanks.
100%. No, not doing it. Fried pickles are
I
gross.
love fried pickles.
I understand.
Well,
I understand.
Was it the fried pickles that I called you gross on your show, or was it was mayonnaise? It was mayonnaise that made me call you gross on your
You don't like mayo, right?
There's nothing wrong
Oh,
with mayo. Give us
mayo.
a sandwich, dude.
Listen, a year ago we were in New Orleans at Radio Row, and one of the sponsors there was a local mayonnaise company. So they were doing different like mayo things during the course of the week, and at the end, all the extra bottles they had, they just gave out to the media. So I brought home tartar sauce, spicy mayo, all these different like specialty mayo items, and phenomenal. Could not be happier. So I'm telling you, one of these days you gotta just open your mind up to try something different and see if maybe it'll
He's
go
so
over.
picky, this fella,
Maybe
you know?
when and you see Jericho's turning around looking at me like, oh, now they're telling you that guy who tells me to try new foods.
I'm happy you mentioned Jericho. Very nice, because while I was there taping an interview on Wednesday, right in the middle of the interview I was taping, who walks past me? CM Punk with the belt.
Oh my
And I'm like,
God.
and I wanted him. And then yesterday we were told we would get Seth Rollins on the show after he was finished with Good Morning Football. And at the end, we came over to try doing that. Now he booked a flight earlier and he couldn't do it. So I was not thrilled with the fact that we didn't get to talk to either Seth Rollins or CM Punk, because we'd like to have had them both. But the point is that it's not just about sports and football. You'll get pro wrestling, you'll get entertainment, you'll get singers, musicians. It's a who's who that's out there. So yeah,
it's
we
really
need
something.
to get you guys out there next year for sure.
Oh, I'd love it.
That's going to be the goal. Now you know what my new obsession is going to be whenever I'm not at work. So welcome to what my life is going to be for the next couple of months.
I'll tell you what. I'll make you guys a deal. Okay, I'm telling you this right now. And you've got me on video saying this. This is what's going to happen. If you get rejected next year, the two of you, okay, you tell me when you want to go, and we will get you a day pass out to Radio Row. What that means is you can't broadcast, but you can walk around. If you want to do interviews and record them and air them back at a later date for Fire and Ice, you can do that. But we'll take care of you. We'll get you guys the day pass. You'll get set up. You get to LA and find yourself a place to stay. We'll make sure we get you out to Radio Row with us next year.
I'm putting wings on Brandon. We're getting there. It's going to happen.
You got it.
Thanks, Cap. We appreciate it.
All right, guys.
We'll see you all next week, everybody. Thank you so much.
Oh, God, I love it. That's awesome.